All right, thanks so much, Carly. Well, it's easy to postpone a doctor's visit, especially around the busy holiday season. But when it comes to a disease like MS, multiple sclerosis, delaying a diagnosis can have a major impact on your health. And here to share insights on life with the condition is Trish Palmer, a traveling nurse living with MS, and Dr. Martin Belkin from the Michigan Institute for Neurological Disorders. Thank you guys so much for being with us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Or Dr. Belkin, let's get right to it. Tell us, for those who don't know, what is MS and why is an early diagnosis and treatment important?
Yes, so MS is a chronic, potentially debilitating neurological disorder, autoimmune disorder that generally affects the brain and spinal cord. And it affects adults, about 1 million adults in the U.S., and generally in the prime of their lives. So the average age of diagnosis is 34, so really that millennial generation. And so it's critically important to get diagnosed because we know MS untreated can lead to progressive disability. So for example, it can lead to issues with vision. It could lead to issues with numbness, tingling, weakness, gait and balance difficulties. So we really want to emphasize the importance of not ignoring symptoms, get on treatment, and talk to your healthcare provider so you can go on and live productive lives.
And Trish, we want to hear from you in just a second, but Dr. Belkin, I just wanted to ask a quick follow-up. I know with dementia and Alzheimer's now, there's like a sort of genetic testing you can get to see if you have a good chance of developing the disease. Is there something like that for MS?
There isn't any genetic testing in terms of risks, but certainly we have excellent diagnostics that if patients have symptoms, we can get them on treatment. And part of the reason I'm here is on behalf of Genentech to really raise awareness about multiple sclerosis and get patients to advocate for their own health.
Now, Trish, tell us about your experience with MS and how it's impacted your life.
Well, like Dr. Belkin said, I was in the prime of my life. I was 30 when I was diagnosed. Had some symptoms initially and ignored them, some numbness and tingling. That progressively got worse, and I was fortunate to seek medical care and was diagnosed with relapsing MS. And I worked with my doctor closely to find a treatment that worked for me, and that ended up being twice yearly Ocrevus. That way I can still be active and travel and do all the things I love to do. And the medicine kind of works around me instead of the other way around.
Wow. And Trish, do you, I'm guessing you confront a lot of misconceptions, from, coworkers, friends and family about multiple sclerosis?
That does happen, yes. We do there are misconceptions about an illness that can mimic so many things and has such wide-ranging symptoms. My advice for people is just to be your own advocate and make a human connection with others. That was one of the best things I did, was to reach out to other people and reach out to advocacy organizations and social media. You can find all kinds of resources online, and without even leaving your home, you can feel supported.
And Dr. Belkin, why is it so important to increase awareness for young people about MS? I spoke to a friend the other day, and he says he hasn't been to the doctor in a while.
Yeah, so we're talking about largely a millennial generation who are diagnosed. And so they tend to approach their lives a little differently, particularly compared to prior generations. So they focus on living their lives rather than focusing on healthcare. So we want them to focus on healthcare first. Get diagnosed, get on effective treatment so they can prevent that disability and go on and live their lives. However, you have to keep in mind that treatments do have risks and side effects. So they have to talk to their healthcare provider in terms of what's going to be right for them. And one resource is Ocrevus.com, where they can go and get information about MS and potential treatment that may be right for them, about prescribing information, risks, side effects, etc. So just critically important to get with your healthcare provider and get on a treatment.
All right, Dr. Belkin, we're out of time. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. And Trish, you as well. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for having us.
Important message. All right, thanks a lot.